Can we have a roll call? Mr. Ely.
Yes.
Trustee Tierney.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustees Jones and Brown Marino are absent. It passes now to have Trustee Abraham as the Mayor Pro Tem. Madam Trustee, you have the table.
Okay, good evening. Thank you, everybody. Could we please have a pledge of allegiance at this time? Excuse me, I'm sorry. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we all sit for a moment of silence? Thank you. Next on the agenda is public comments. The Village of Broadview encourages citizen input. Those wishing to address the village board under public comments must fill out the attached speaker request form and submit it to the village clerk prior to the start of the board meeting. The president will then call your name at the appropriate time. When addressing the board, please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. When the president recognizes you, please state your name and address for the record, and please speak loudly. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Madam Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you. Our first public comment is from Ms. Marquita Smith.
You can speak into the mic, but still speak up, please.
But it's for the live stream.
Thank you. Thank you, trustee.
Good evening.
First question I have is on the warrant list for RMOW Incorporated. Can you specify exactly what that invoice is for? But then it also says it has a check number for $272,585. Is that incorporated in this amount that is at the top, or is that in addition? And I was trying to get on the video for the previous meetings, and I can't seem to get on there. It says I have to go through Facebook. I don't do Facebook. So I don't know if you might want to check that out, since you're not going to be over in the village. You're going to be here pretty much. And I would like to, if I'm not able to be in attendance, I still like to follow the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Our next public comment is from Mr. Eddie Fields.
Good evening to the board and all the residents. I have a complaint in the police department. I would like for them to look into the cars that's parked on Roosevelt Road in the front of the hair braiding place and the dollar store, and it's congested as is. So we would like the police to look into that for us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Please let the record reflect that at 7:35, Trustee Jones is now present. Thank you.
Okay, our next public comment is from Barbara Morgan. Ms. Barbara Morgan.
Good evening. My name is Barbara. This isn't working, right?
So speak loudly, please, so we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Barbara Morgan. My address is 2512 South 18th Avenue. And I have two comments to make. And one is a compliment to Judy Abraham for her regular telling us about the smoke alarms that are available to the residents of Broadview. I so appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Monk came by and he did everything that had to be done in my house, and I'm very grateful to him, so thank you. And also, I wanted to know about the Old Warsaw restaurant being closed. I was wondering if could anybody tell me why they were closed?
We'll get a report about that later.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Trustee Ely. Okay, that was the end of public comments.
Okay, thank you, Madam Pro Tem. Next item on the agenda is item 3, communications. The first communication we have is for Westlake Hospital. Westlake Hospital will be offering free mammograms in October. I'm sorry, it says in October, but on Wednesday, September 26th is when this memo came out. Medical experts at Westlake Hospital, located at 1225 West Lake Street in Melrose Park, will offer free screening mammograms to female Proviso Township residents throughout October, according to a recent announcement released by the hospital officials. I don't have any further information on this. However, if you wish to get more information, contact Westlake Hospital. And again, they are at 1225 West Lake Street. I do not have a phone number. Next, from the Broadview Fire Department. This was actually from the fire department, from Chief Kenny, and this could have come from any one department because Norm Russell Braga was a friend of all of ours. Norm Braga passed away peacefully in his home in Broadview on Friday, September 21st. Norm was the son of Merritt and Alice Braga, preceded in death by his wife, Carolyn Louise Braga, and daughter Karen Braga, brothers Donald, Robert, and his sister Eleanor Cannon. Norman worked as a mechanic with his father at the Broadview Garage down at Public Works until moving to California in 1968. He returned to Illinois in 1972 and then worked for the village of Broadview and retired in 1995. He served in the United States Army and was a member of the American Legion Post 626 for many years and enjoyed bartending at the post and at his home. He will be remembered by many friends and family as Stormin' Norman. He is survived by his children Linda, married to Joe, Kenneth, and David, and his 7 grandchildren, Laura Payne, Brett Muchow, Braga, and 15 great-grandchildren. I'm sorry, I missed a couple of them. Julie Finnegar, William K. Cadera, Meredith Braga, John Braga, and Andrew Braga. He was known as Papa Bear and Pops, and Gigi Pa to his grandchildren and great-grandchildren, many of whom have wonderful memories of spending summers with him at Woodhaven Lakes. He will be missed by his close companion, Yvonne Mueller. Norman will always be remembered for his mischievous smile, practical jokes, and heart full of laughter and love for those he shared life with. Arrangements have been made at Russo Funeral Home at 4500 Roosevelt Road in Hillside. His wake is on Friday, September 28th from 3 to 8 p.m. and funeral services are on Saturday, September 29th, beginning at 11 o'clock a.m. In lieu of flowers, contributions can be made to Broadview American Legion Post 626, located at 4941 Butterfield Road, Hillside, Illinois 60162. I will say further that Norm was a really good guy. I worked at Public Works for 2 years and got a chance to know him. And he's the one that showed me how Benny and Bud cheated in gin rummy. He knew all the tricks of the trade, so it was good to know and work with Norm. Next I have from Chief Kevin Ugling from the Police Department, a letter from Frank Kaminsky, Chief of Police. And this would be over at, Yeah. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to Officers Ian Florentino, who recently provided assistance for the September 3rd anti-violence march on the Kennedy Expressway. The NIPAS Mobile Field Force was contacted for assistance with this event. We are thankful for your officer and appreciate the support provided that day. The professional assistance with this event is not to be overlooked. Mayor Maloney also asked me to extend his appreciation for your assistance to our staff and our community. Please know that we stand ready to return the courtesy. Please extend my appreciation to your officer for his assistance. Sincerely, again, Frank Kaminsky, Chief of Police, City of Park Ridge. And got one more from, this is a last minute one from Kamarick School District. Be a part of the conversation. Comerica is hosting a series of community conversations facilitated by M2 Communications to help gather information and perspectives from family and community members about how to best support the education, health, and safety of all students by addressing the needs of Comerica's aging building. We need to hear from you to understand the community's priorities for our students and for our school. Please join us on one of the following dates: Wednesday, October 3rd, Thursday, October 4th, both from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Also, Wednesday, October 10th, from 7 to 8:30 p.m., and that session will be in Spanish only. Saturday, October 13th, from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m., and that's going to be located at the North Riverside Village Commons. And then lastly, on Wednesday, October 17th, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Please note, all sessions will be conducted in English, with the exception of the session on October 10th, which is a Spanish session. All sessions will be held in the auditorium at Comerica School, with the exception of the October 13th session, which will be held at the North Riverside Village Commons, located at 2401 South Des Plaines Avenue in the BC room. Parking is in the rear. Child care, light refreshments will be provided for each session, and additional sessions will be held for staff and students. Let the record reflect that at 7:40, Trustee Brown Marino is now at the meeting. And Madam Pro Tem, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda,
Okay.
Mr. Clerk.
Item 4,
Continue.
consideration to approve the following minutes. Minutes from the September 17th, 2018 regular board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Horn, seconded by Trustee Tierney. Madam President?
Is there any questions or comments? Trustee Ely?
No, abstain, I wasn't here.
Trustee Tierney?
None.
Trustee Jones?
None.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing, thank you.
Trustee Brown Marino? Yeah, the only comment that I have, and I wanted to discuss it rather than send it as a correction. Clerk McGreer, you put just the words closed session to indicate that there was a closed session. There were votes to go into closed session, there were votes to come back into open session, and I believe that we should also include the, the description of what was discussed. I don't mean the specific subject, but the exception to the Open Meetings Act. So to me, just the words closed session, I didn't believe were sufficient, but I don't know how the rest of the board feels about it.
So noted.
Trustee, do you mean the categorical exemption from the open meetings requirement? Is that what you're talking about? Like, we wanted to discuss, for example, litigating, but it's using that as an
Right, I mean, we listed several items, but we didn't discuss all of them,
So noted, Trustee. Thank you.
So are we okay with that then? We could still have the, a vote?
Yeah, well, would you like a roll
Make a
call?
motion, yeah.
if those changes are made.
Do it, pardon me? Pardon me?
We'll take a roll call, and I'll make sure that we're voting on the minutes as presented, plus the changes suggested by Trustee Brown Marino.
Okay, that's fine, as long as they're,
So the vote is to approve the minutes as presented, with the exception of the corrections made by Trustee Brown Marino. We will make those corrections and get them back out to you guys as soon as possible. Trustee Ely?
I'm gonna abstain, but, like the audience said, I can barely hear you, and I'm sitting at the front of the room, so.
Would you like for me
Well,
to
let's
repeat?
either move the tables, or, like, can you turn the the
I can
microphone?
speak
down?
louder.
We have to speak up. These aren't, there's no speaker in here.
I'll speak louder and repeat myself.
Okay.
Trustee Brown Marino noted on the
Went into closed session.
executive session that we did not show on the minutes the voting of going to session, voting on coming out, nor did we list any of the particulars that we were going to talk about. So with those corrections that I will get out to you guys, we're voting on that to approve the minutes. Okay? So Trustee Ely,
Abstain.
Trustee Tierney,
Yes.
Trustee Jones,
Abstain.
Trustee Horn,
Yes.
Trustee Abraham,
yes?
Trustee Brown Marino,
Yes?
and passes 4-0, actually 6-0 with the abstentions, to approve the minutes, I'm sorry. Next item on the agenda, item 5, consideration to approve expenditures, grand total of all funds, $921,828.72.
Can I get a motion?
Yeah. Motion to approve?
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Tierney, seconded by trustee Horn. Madam President?
Trustee Tierney, can you please give us a reading of the warrant list, please?
Okay, we have Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois for $156,779.48. Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency, $220,944. Groot Inc., $86,212.96. FGM Architects, $45,080.94. H&H Electric, $3,045.35. Lincoln National Life Insurance, $7,681.99. Matrix Coating Solutions, $33,120. Mercury Systems, $4,093.73. M. Rugged Mobile Technology, $3,599.46. Nafisco Inc., $5,290. Ridderford Roofing, $54,161.50. RNO Inc., $6,520. For a total of $626,529.41. Total expenditures are $649,243.72. Percent of the total was 97%. There was also a manual check written for RNOW Inc., dated 9/24/18 in the amount of $272,585.
Trustee Ely?
No comment.
Trustee Tierney?
That completes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Tierney?
Nothing.
Trustee Jones?
I just would like some clarification on why RNOW got 2 payments on this pay cycle. I mean, there's an urgency at some point in time to pay him $272,000, but we also got a $6,520 payment to him. So, can you tell me what happened?
It's a
I think
warranty.
the attorney can expound on that.
It's the I believe it's the warranty for the $6,200.
Why didn't it all?
$6,520 was the warranty to be added on, but the check manually was for pickup or the delivery of the sweeper. Am I correct, Mr. Attorney? Is that what transpired?
The item, $272,585 was the actual sweeper that was approved via prior vote on a purchase order.
Yeah.
And then an extended warranty is before you tonight for the amount of $6,520. That will give us the maximum warranty allowed by the manufacturer and the broker.
Any other questions, Trustee Jones?
That was it.
Okay. Trustee Horn?
Nothing, thank you.
Trustee Brown Marino? I have no comment.
Okay, we'll take
Mr.
roll
Clerk.
call. Trustee Ely.
Yes.
Trustee Tierney.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Next item on the agenda, item 6, committee reports. Committee reports are given at every first board meeting of the month. We'll start with Trustee Horn, street sidewalks and alleys.
Thank you. So in my report, I mentioned the sweeper. A manual check was issued in the amount of $272,585. The vendor asked that the payment be issued at the point of delivery. That's why a manual check was issued. The $6,000, Ms. Smith, was in addition to the $272. I had a committee meeting not too long ago. A lot of requests were captured at that meeting, and I followed up with Public Works. All those requests were fulfilled in addition to trip hazards. And as it relates to projects, all the street patches are done. Sod will be installed this week, as well as one remaining patch in the alley. Mr. Baker is here from Edwin Hancock Engineering. Do you have anything else you would like to add? Okay. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
I've got
Madam
a
Trustee.
question for you, Trustee Horn.
Okay.
Lately, the last week or so, there's been a lot of brush on a lot of streets. And I mean, it's all over the village, you know, I don't know how many employees total we have in public works, you know, but if you're trying to keep your property up, that doesn't help.
Okay. Has residents came to you, or is it just an observation that you've made?
Both.
Okay. When the residents come to you, do you mind telling them to make sure they call in their request directly to Public Works? And if they don't respond, letting them know that they have the request to follow up with the mayor's office and ensure that the request is documented?
Actually, I did just that. I told them to call the mayor's office and/or Public Works.
Okay, and they haven't gotten a
And
response?
and they've been told that they'll get around to it.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, next committee, Finance Committee, Trustee Abraham.
Yes, good evening, residents, and thank you for coming here tonight in our new home for the next few months. For the Finance Committee, there will be a Finance Committee meeting here Wednesday at 7 p.m., just so you know. We have been providing information, so if you've been able to stream it live or if you have attended, we do have different participants that do speak about different financial situations in our community, and we do it as a panel discussion. So it's a lot of information, which makes it easier for everybody to dissect and to understand, so that as the village keeps moving forward financially. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Madam Trustee. Next item, Business License Committee, Trustee Ely.
I'm going to defer part of it to Commissioner Upshaw. He's got an explanation that he's going to share with the body about SAWAs. But to go sideways for a second, I recently lost someone close to me, family member, and I took some time and we did what we had to do, and the village sent a very nice bouquet of flowers. Trustee Horn showed up the morning of the funeral and presented the family with a very nice condolence card. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the village and the entire village board for their considerations during that period. That concludes my report.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Next item is Fire, Police, and Civil Service, Trustee Tierney.
Speak now.
No, it's coming up in,
Okay.
oh no.
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman,
Do you want Mr. Upshaw?
yeah, I defer to
Want
Commissioner Upshaw.
That's inappropriate. Mr. Vasselli, is that okay? Yeah. Okay, thank you. We can address that.
As it relates to SAWAs, I received several calls regarding why was SAWAs closed. SAWAs was closed last Wednesday. The Village of Broadview did not close SAWAs. Cook County Public Health Department did. SAWAs, I should say the Cook County Health Department received 2 complaints of roaches infestation and bedbug infestation. And so currently they're working on it. I anticipate it may be open this week, it may not.
Anybody have any questions?
I sent pictures to Trustee Ely and Trustee Abraham.
Yes. Have they met with the fire department, police department, any of that? Is there more to the process before they can open, or is the Cook County overrides everything?
Stuart Sawa met with myself and the mayor last week, and we also met with the contractors who are working to pretty much exterminate the property and get it back into compliance, along with Cook County. At this point, as far as I know, an inspection is scheduled tomorrow with Cook County Health Department as well as the Village of Broadview. We will be doing an entire inspection of the units above as well as the restaurant.
Anyone have any questions regarding this matter?
I don't.
No.
Okay, thank you, Director Upshaw, for that update on that situation.
Okay, next item is Water, Drainage, and Health. That chair sits vacant. Madam Mayor Pro Tem, do you have any comments for that?
None.
Okay. Then Building and Public Property, also vacant. Anything?
None.
Which moves us to item 7 on
Excuse
the
me,
agenda.
Mr. Clerk, you forgot fire
Fire
police.
police,
Trustee
yep.
Tierney?
Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee.
Okay, no
I
problem.
checked it already, I'm sorry. I did omit Fire, Police, and Civil Service, Trustee Tierney.
Okay, we just got a letter from Chief Kenny, who, we have one firefighter who is gonna turn in a letter of resignation effective October 8th, I believe, right? So at that time, we'll get a letter and get it on the board to hire somebody else. That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. Now,
Oh,
next item, item 7, old business.
Oh, Clerk McGreer, just one thing. With the recent testing, we've got a complete eligibility list now, right?
Another question?
Yes.
Okay, we're ready.
Take your time.
Lists, sometimes guys are on multiple lists, and we can reach out to them, and they come back with, all right, I'm doing this, and we go to the next day, and it just takes time.
Okay.
Trustee Tierney?
Yeah, and if I could have Chief come on up, Ugling, and talk about the new parking ban.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Come on up, Chief.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So the permit parking program is in effect as of today, so October 1st, we started it. As of this morning, I didn't check today how many were sold, but as of this morning, we sold 11 permits already for the zone parking. The overnight list has cut in half since we started enforcing the parking ban once again. We had up to 70 a night, people parking on the street. We're down to 32, which is about average for the village. So it's moving along. It's moving along. I don't know. Don't know how many are going to be sold, but right now we're at 11 as of this morning.
Okay, thanks, Chief.
Yeah, good job, Chief.
Anybody have questions
Yeah.
for Chief?
When you say that it's down to 32, in other words, there's an average of 32 people who are parking illegally?
No, they just these. You could park if you have overnight guests or something. Just need to get parking
Okay.
permission.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No more.
Okay.
Okay, moving along to item 7, old business. A, consideration of an application for a business license requested by Michael Rakoff of Energetic Intentions LLC, doing business as Energetic Intentions, located at 2100 South 19th Avenue for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois. Need a motion?
Yeah, can I have a motion to approve? Make motion to approve? Okay.
Second?
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Tierney, seconded by Trustee Brown Marino. Madam President?
Okay, it's going to be open for discussion. Trustee Ely?
Well, at first, I'd like to ask Mr. Upshaw, is this ready?
Can you please come up? Excuse me, one second. Director Upshaw, can you please come up? Because I know I tabled it at the last
Let
meeting.
me also mention to the trustees and the board that Mr. Michael Rakoff of Energetic, who is making the request, is here in the audience, in case you have any questions for him.
Can we bring him up too? Is that all right, Mr. Baselli? So in case we have questions, any of the trustees, and then Mr. Upshaw can explain as well.
Hi, good evening.
All right. What is it exactly that Energetic Intentions will be doing at 2100 South 19th Avenue?
That's my home. That's just where I'm running the business out of. I'm not seeing clients there. I'm not having anyone come there. My business goes to other people's homes. I offer space smudging. So think of it as, you know how you vacuum your house and you dust your house? Smudging cleans the energy of a home. So I'd have to go to someone's house or office to do that. And the other thing I offer is Reiki. It's energetic balancing for the body. Most people really get relaxed when they go through treatment. There's been reports of accelerated healing of broken bones, muscle strain, that sort of thing. But it's also something I go to someone else's home to do that service.
Oh, so this is just a company address that
Yes.
you're establishing? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody in the house.
Okay, that's it. That's the end of my questions.
Does that answer your question, Trustee Ely?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
I have nothing.
Trustee Jones?
I have nothing.
Trustee Horn?
Does this require any type of licensure or certification on your part when you're touching a person's body and doing?
I am already licensed to touch someone, but I don't have to when I'm performing Reiki. That's not something that's required. But I do have a level 2 certification in Reiki.
So this is considered like holistic medicine?
Yeah, it's holistic treatment.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it, Trustee
That
Horn?
is, thank you.
Okay. Yes, welcome to the community.
Thank you.
With your approach of holistic medicine. So hopefully you have much success.
Thank you.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
I hope so. I hope you get a lot of calls. So what kind of equipment do you have to bring, or when you
Pretty
go
much-
and do a visit so we can get the full?
Smudging, I'll bring, it's called Palo Santo, it's an incense stick.
Okay.
And that, the smoke helps clear the space. Really Reiki, I just need me.
Okay. All right, and then what hours would you be having with this up
I work full-time, so it's, service is offered at night and on the weekends.
on the weekend, so 7 days? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Trustee Brown Marino?
No, you've answered all my questions. Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Upshaw, did you have anything further?
Nope.
Madam President, would you like a roll call?
Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Ely?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
It's carried 6-0.
Okay, go ahead.
Next item on the agenda. Item 8, new business. A, an ordinance for the establishment of an enterprise zone in the village of Bellwood. Why does it say Bellwood? Oh, okay. Bellwood, the village of Broadview, the village of Maywood, the village of Merrill's Park, and Cook County, Illinois, subject to the Enterprise Zone Act of the State of Illinois for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Tierney, seconded by Trustee Jones. Madam President.
It's open for discussion. Trustee Ely?
Well, I was going to defer to our village attorney to share with all of us exactly what this is.
Sure. Do you want, Madam Chairman?
Yes.
The Enterprise Zone Program.
Could I ask you to
course.
come in?
The Illinois Enterprise Zone Program is an economic incentive program designed to stimulate growth throughout municipalities, either singularly or jointly, now generally jointly, throughout the state of Illinois. It provides for rebates and certain sales tax, for example, in order to attract and retain business interests in the community. The Illinois Constitution allows us to enter into agreements with other municipalities, and quite frankly, when the state reviews these at this point in time, they like regional enterprise zones, and they look more favorable for our applications than those from single municipalities. For example, the village of Maywood has had an enterprise zone for an extended period of time. Those are all coming due, and at this point in time, Maywood is now joining in with this village to allow for a regional enterprise zone program and regional growth. My office did not work on this for the village, but I'm familiar with the program.
That concludes my questions.
Okay. Trustee Tierney?
None.
Trustee Jones?
I don't have any questions, I just got a comment. These enterprise zones were restricted. There was a limited number of them allowed in the state of Illinois. They were targeted for communities that were in disrepair, for lack of a better term. So there were only, was it 6 or 8 of them that were?
I believe so, and that's changed, as you
But
know.
it's checked, well, I'm getting ready to get to that.
Right,
So,
yeah.
because these communities were in such bad shape, like Fort Heights, Maywood, and some other locations, because they were in such bad shape, they still had a trouble drawing people to come and do development. So what the state decided to do in their infinite wisdom was to allow other communities to join in to get developers to come into a region or to an area. Towns like Broadview, Bellwood, Westchester, Melrose Park at one point in time probably would never have qualified for the enterprise zone because we did not have the same type of issues as Harvey, Riverdale, Fort Heights, or what have you. And what it allows not just us, but the developers or the general contractors to do is to be able to purchase goods and products and services without having to pay the taxes. And for them, that's a lot. You know, it means a lot to them, and you can just draw a little bit better. So the concept is to get communities that are in decent shape involved with communities that are not in such good shape to try to help draw developers to the area, to a region. So that's what it is. Did I explain it about right?
There's an excellent explanation, Mr. Trustee. Thank you.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
That was it.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Just want to add a couple things and then one question. When we first, several months ago, back in May, we approved a startup committee to do the work to get this application processed. And there were some questions asked at the time, you know, what parts of Broadview, how much of Broadview is going to be included and whatnot. So we did get a map along with this, and all of Broadview is included. It appears that all of Bellwood, all of Maywood, and all of Melrose Park are as well. So that's the entire enterprise zone from what I can tell. I am wondering, when we approved the startup committee and our share of the expenses of the startup committee, the agreement was that Maywood would pay for everything and then bill the other villages. I don't recall seeing any kind of bill, and at the time we didn't get a budget, we didn't get any idea what we were going to be spending on that. Does anyone know what we ended up spending for the startup?
I will be receiving an invoice from Maywood paying for some of the initial consulting services. Also this evening, I have Warren, who is actually from Opportunity Alliance here, who is helping us put together our application to be submitted to the state. So any additional questions Warren can answer.
Can we have him please step forward then if there is any questions for the trustees and give a little bit of an explanation? Yes, can you please introduce yourself and explain your capacity?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and trustees. I'm Warren Ribley. I'm representing Opportunity Alliance. We are consulting on the project to bring this enterprise zone to the communities and the county as mentioned. Happy to answer any questions.
Trustee Ely?
So you're preparing the application to present to the state. We're in the process of doing that now, or that's been done?
Yeah, no, that's exactly correct. The application is due at the end of December. It's subject to a review with decisions announced by September of 2019, with the enterprise zone then, if we're successful, and we have every reason to believe we're going to be, certified in January of 2020. It's for a term of 15 years with a potential for extension of an additional 10 years.
Then we're not going to know about a budget or any cost to the village for a year?
I'm sorry, what was that?
There won't be any cost to the village for a year before everything is settled. I'm just projecting. Yeah. We're just doing the application.
Yeah.
Costs for marketing, whatever, that's way down the line.
That's accurate. It's my understanding that based on the intergovernmental agreement that the trustee mentioned earlier, that the costs are being split 5 ways between the 5 units of government. I don't recall the exact figures, but I think the total cost is somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000 to $120,000 to be split between the 5, not just your share.
Okay, that concludes my questions, Jim.
Trustee Tierney?
I don't have any. Thank you.
Trustee Jones?
I have none.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing, thank you.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Just Opportunity Alliance, is this the consulting company? Were you chosen as the
Yes, there
consultant
was
for this?
an RFP that was
Right.
issued by the 5 communities, and we applied and was selected. We've had vast experience in preparing these applications and have a very successful track record in getting them approved. And I can just say, honestly, based on where we're at in the process, I feel that we're going to put forth a very strong application on your behalf.
When I went to the Illinois Municipal League Conference last week, I was speaking with a trustee from one of these other towns who said that he has attended several of these meetings. How often does the enterprise group meet, and are these open meetings? Are they open to the public?
I'm not exactly sure of the context of that question. Once you have an enterprise zone, once a project is brought forward, there's an enterprise zone administrator. There's typically a public hearing that's held to approve a project. So that's kind of like one context of it. In terms of the approval process, as I said, the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity will be reviewing those applications in the first 6 months or so of 2019. The ultimate decision is made by an enterprise zone board in terms of approval, and they do have some hearings that are open to the public as well.
My question right now pertained to the startup committee, and maybe our village attorney could address that. Are these meetings of the startup committee supposed to be open to the public? Are they subject to
I've only
OMA and
participated in
FOIA?
experts conference calls. I have not participated, but Mr. Upshaw may have a better idea than I do, if I may turn it over to him.
Okay.
As a member of the committee, we do a telephone conference once a week, every Wednesday, 1:30 to 2 o'clock. We've had initial meetings, and I'm not aware that they've been open to the public, but we have had several meetings. But recently, our meetings have been via telephone conference because each municipality has specific things they need to do, in other words, to support the application.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, go ahead.
A couple of questions have come to mind after listening to these two gentlemen. The first thing, Mr. Upshaw, those meetings that you guys are having, are there any minutes to those meetings so that we can find out what the content of the meetings were? Are there any recordings or anything like that that we could tap into, get access, so we know what's going on?
Warren can address.
I was going to ask Warren next.
Yeah, Warren can address if there's any recordings, but there are agendas.
Yeah,
We have an agenda every meeting. Actually, there'll be an agenda either out today or tomorrow for the meeting, that the telephone conference that we're going to have on Wednesday, and has specific items that we're currently working on. One of the things that we will talk about in probably this upcoming meeting is the municipalities in terms of getting the ordinances passed by the different municipalities, and also letters of support.
Mm-hmm. Well, given that answer, then the question then begs to be asked is there a way that we can get a copy of previous agendas, current agendas? Because those agendas would spurn the questions. If we knew what was going on, then we would have some kind of guideline on what kind of questions to ask. So I would just like to get copies of the agendas, if nothing else.
I can forward.
Yeah, drop them in my box, Dave, you know,
Okay.
or
I'll
call
them.
me, I'll come get them.
I'll scan them and send them to all of the trustees.
That's fine. And then finally, the question for Mr. Warren is, in this application process, could you share with us some of the key components of the criteria that would make us qualify for an enterprise zone? When you do this application, there are certain pecking orders, different things that are components that need to be addressed in the application. And I would just like everybody to know what it is that, you know, how we're going about applying it, and what it is that, you know, is required.
Yeah, sure. No, that's a great question. You know, this whole process is established under state law. There was the enterprise zone law was revamped in 2012, and at that point in time, there were 10 criteria that's identified in statute, along with a point assessment that's given for each criteria. You need to address as many of those 10 as you can. Statute says you have to meet at least 3 of them. We will address all 10 and fully intend to score well in those. I do have.
Yeah, just want you to run down the list of the 10.
Unemployment. Unemployment rate is one. This is a very important one. We've been working very closely with the business community of the 4 communities, as well as unincorporated Cook. You need to be able to demonstrate the capacity to attract a minimum of 1,000 new full-time jobs over the life of the enterprise zone, which is minimum of 15 years, and $100 million of investment. So we've been working closely with the existing businesses, and I can tell you we already have letters of support that surpass those numbers pretty significantly. Another measure is the level of poverty, reduced lunches in schools, and the amount of individuals participating in SNAP program, some additional economic criteria. There's a criteria that looks at whether or not there are brownfields or abandoned coal mines, or if there's been a federally designated disaster within the affected communities over the past 5 years. Plant closures is another one that needs to be addressed. Vacancy rate. So is there commercial and industrial property that's available for businesses to come into. So we're looking at that. You have to demonstrate how the zone will improve the tax base of the communities. You have to demonstrate the level of existing infrastructure and what type of infrastructure plans the villages have, because obviously infrastructure is incredibly important to be able to attract investment. So, and I feel like we're going to do very well in that area. Workforce preparation, do the high schools participate in programs that lead to like dual credit? And so in other words, is there adequate preparation to train young people for future jobs? You have to do an assessment of how the enterprise zone would affect changes in the equalized assessed valuation, affecting your property tax base. And then there was an 11th criteria that was just added this year that dealt with minority, female, and disability businesses. And actually we'll be attending a meeting later this week to get some further guidance on exactly how the state wants that to be addressed. But essentially it's like, is there a plan available by which, as new investment comes in, that investment will include participation of minority, women, and disability-owned businesses? And does the plan address the ability to attract business ownership composed of minority, women, and disability-owned businesses? So that's the 11 criteria.
Got it.
We're going to address every one of them.
Not a problem. Thank you for your response.
Sure.
Good question, Trustee Jones. Trustee Warren, anything?
When it comes to the businesses that we are looking to attract, is it open to any type of business, or is there any limitations or restrictions?
I mean, it's generally geared toward manufacturing and industrial, but could also be warehousing, could be hospitality, can be retail. I mean, really any business that is planning any type of significant expansion that's going to have economic benefit to the community
Do we have the right to say no?
I'm sorry?
Do we have the right to say no to a business that wants to come in and we don't want that
So
business?
all of these particular incentives are state tax-based incentives. The units of local government have the ability to offer other local-based tax incentives. At this point, we're not really looking at that. I mean, I don't know that the enterprise zone designation itself would impede or, I mean, there's probably like licensing and provisions like that that the local community gets involved in order for a business to be able to expand. I think the enterprise zone designation itself is probably pretty much agnostic to that. It's not really going to impede your ability to have those kind of input.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I could answer a little bit differently, just so you know. The enterprise zone, the benefits of the enterprise zone are secondary to us approving the business. It's not essential to it or primary to it, it's secondary. So we can say no to a business and it don't matter. But if we decide to say yes, at that point in time, they get to tap into the enterprise zone benefits. Okay. So once the business comes and we say yes, then they get access to all the wonderful things that the enterprise zone is going to give them. So we can always say yes or no. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Brown Marino?
Yeah, the items that you mentioned, the 11 criteria, are those collectively among the 4 municipalities, or is each municipality judged on its how it ranks in that?
Yeah, no, another good question. It looks at the geographic boundaries of the enterprise zone collectively, and then it actually, not to get into too much detail, actually kind of goes beyond that. So you have your specific boundaries of the enterprise zone, which is laid out in the ordinance by map and by legal description, but it also looks at kind of the surrounding area that's termed under law as a local labor market area, which is essentially sort of where the geographic boundaries from which people are coming into the zone to work and then also going outside. So there's really two, and it kind of varies from criteria, but the short answer to your question is it's looked at collectively.
And then my other question, we have several projects under construction right now. Would the benefits only apply to projects that start after January of 2020? Is there any benefit to the established businesses or any of the projects that are currently underway?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, until the enterprise zone is certified, which the earliest possible date would be January 1 of 2020, can then businesses take advantage. There's no nothing in
Okay.
in
No
that
retro.
respect.
That's fine. That's what I expected. Okay, thank you.
Trustee Hoy,
Yeah,
you had
just
one more?
one more question. There's mention of zone administration within the legislation. So I understand that you're a consulting firm. Mr. Upshaw, are you the representative on behalf of the village formally assigned?
No, I can address that. Actually, in the ordinance that's before you for consideration, there is a zone administration board that is established that has representation from each of the 5 units of local government. And then there is a zone administrator that is selected from among or selected by that enterprise zone board. So it's shared responsibilities, and that's really a post-enterprise zone designation decision. I think there are requirements in there that bylaws be set up, and so each village, each community will have representation, and then that board itself really makes determinations on its governance going forward.
I guess I feel like my question still wasn't answered. Is the board, does it consist of people from Broadview, or is it you?
Oh, no, it's from representatives
It's gonna
from
be
each
a
of the local
representative from
communities.
Broadview.
One from Broadview, one from Bellwood, one from Maywood, one from Melrose Park, and one from Cook County. Because there are two areas in the zone that are unincorporated. One's the Loyola campus, and the other is the Maywood racetrack
Okay.
property.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments, board?
No, I don't have anything, thanks.
Mr. Clerk?
Okay, we'll have a roll call now. Trustee Ely?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes, and I just want to thank you for all the information. Thank you.
Carries 6-0. Okay, next item on the agenda, item 9, application for the authority to expend funds. We have none at this time. Item 10, village clerk. I have no announcements, Madam President. That brings us to item 11, village president.
Okay. Can I ask, Mr. Vaselli, is it possible I can go ahead and answer some of these public comments, because some of them have been answered? Is that all right with you, or do you want me to leave it for the mayor?
You are the chairman pro tem, and you can address the meeting if you so choose. The one thing is, we did address the issue
Right.
about the R now invoices. I just put that on the record.
Okay.
The website.
Right.
Speaks it out.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. So our first public comment was made by Miss Barbara Morgan, and she was thanking about the smoke detectors. And again, I'd have to say that's directed toward thank you for taking advantage of it, because the fire department and Chief Kinney and Inspector Monks have worked very hard to secure a grant. And at the recent fire department open house, I wanted to get some additional information. I'm sure Chief Kinney can answer what this grant entails, as well as how long, and it's going to be extended, Chief Kinney, on the smoke detectors, because obviously it is a service to our residents. It's free of charge, and as you can see, we've got residents now taking advantage of it. So if you could please.
I really can't say how long it's going to last for. It's until the grant is no longer funded. So right now, we just have no shipment of another 180. We have appointments until
Yes.
January now.
Yes.
Open house, we took another
I think the other part of your question was why was our Sawas was closed. I hope that was answered, as you heard from Director Upshaw, as to what is taking place and what comments were made and what the Cook County Board of Health is doing right now. So there's some process that has to be followed and procedures, so you can see where that's at right now. Sawas will eventually be open, but that's going to be determined by Cook County Board of Health, okay? We had another public comment by Mr. Fields regarding the police department, looking at cars. Chief Hugling, you will be addressing it, and you talked to him. Thank you so much, Mr. Fields, so I hope that takes care of that. Ms. Smith had a public comment regarding the warrant list with the invoice, with the purchase of the sweeper, and that was explained to you by the board as well as from our attorney, and what the two different payments were. As far as the video being streamed to view, you said it was unable to hear. Was that what the hearing? Because I'll get with our.
I'll show you the link. It has Facebook.
No,
Facebook?
no, so there's two things. You should go directly to the website itself to view. Directly to the website won't lead you to Facebook. You can interact with the live streaming via the website itself.
But I'll show you after.
Okay.
Is
no
that okay?
problem.
Then we can look at it, because our production person is here
Madam
as well.
President, if I can?
Yes.
Just before I came to the meeting, I checked the link so that Mom could watch it, while she was at home. And the link did go directly to our last meeting, September 17th. So I know if you go to the website and go to the link, it is up and running. I believe JJ in effect will now be live streaming this one, so it should work. I'm not sure if it's gonna work on each and every device, but it should. I checked that right before we came here.
I hope so, Ms. Smith. I'm not tech savvy. I just press and click. So Ms. Horn, yeah, Trustee Horn will help you out with that. That was it for the public comments and the responses.
Would that be it for you?
Yes, that's it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been properly motioned by Trustee Jones, seconded by Trustee Horn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Shout it out anyway, Shirley.
8:28 p.m. Thank you all.
Thank you.